How do you beat a narcissist at their own game? How do you corner them? How do you keep them at bay? How do you teach them a lesson? Is there even a way to do any of this? Well, there is. But that way is not to fight them the way they fight you. Because that fight, they have already mastered it and they control the outcome. It's like if you wrestle with pigs, pigs are going to enjoy that. They are going to get dirty. You are going to get dirty as well, but you won't like it and you will get hurt. So how do you fight them? How do you defeat them? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 ways to defeat a narcissist without even fighting them. Isn't that interesting? If you find it interesting as well, please make sure to subscribe before we begin, because as I always say and request, your subscription to my channel helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Number 1, become ice cold towards them. I have said it so many times by now that a narcissist feeds on your emotions. They are parasites, they are predators who need you to feel something. The moment you feel something, they feel power. The moment you react to their fights, the moment you start yelling and screaming the way they are yelling and screaming, you lose, because it's not who you are. It's not your authentic self. But their screaming and yelling self is what they are essentially. They're nothing beyond that. So what should you do in this situation? Anytime a narcissist tries to push your buttons, draw a boundary, mark your territory, but do not yell, do not scream. Do not give them the response they want from you, which is another way of saying do not justify yourself. No justifications needed. You do not have to prove yourself. They know what they have done. It's just that they do not want to acknowledge it, or they want to blame it on you. Do not argue, because you know you're not going to get anything out of those arguments. These are circular conversations and you won't achieve anything. You will only lose yourself, your sanity, and your strength, which is the most important asset of yours. And then do not explain yourself. Why would you explain? You didn't mean what they make it seem like you meant, or you didn't say what they blame you for saying, because the person is not interested in knowing what you said or didn't say. They are interested in making you think you are making up things, or you're going crazy, or you're misremembering things. So there is no point in explaining anything to this manipulative individual. And then 4th and the most important step, you must not personalize blame shifting. They will call you all the things possible and imaginable. All the bad names, all the labels will be associated with you. Your main job is not to take any of that personally by telling yourself that that is not my truth. It is the projection defense mechanism of the narcissist. It is basically a confession. Every single thing they are saying, they are blaming you for, is nothing but a confession. And what you should do is that you should look for proof for those confessions. If the narcissist says you are destroying our children, know that they are doing it. Now they have given you the clue. They have given you something to work on and find out how they are doing it. That is how you step back. Anytime they go crazy with yelling and screaming and become really loud, you go down, you control the situation. Either you stay silent and you say something along the lines of, when you are done, let me know. We can get started with the topic, or we can get started with discussing the problem. Keep repeating yourself until they realize there is no point in yelling and screaming, that you see through them, that you know what they're trying to do and you're not going to give them that power. Or you say something along the lines of, I do not respond to that volume, so that they know they are done here. There is nothing to manipulate. There is nothing to exploit. You always give monosyllabic answers whenever possible, or one-liners. We both know that is not what happened. Or, I understand why you think that way, but that is your opinion and you are entitled to have one. We can both agree to disagree. Drop it there. Watch them throw tantrums, but do not respond to those tantrums by reacting. Number two, remain decisive. You cannot be reactive, as I was explaining, because your reaction will always be used against you. When I say stay decisive or remain decisive, what I mean by that is keep your prefrontal cortex, or the part of your brain that enables executive functioning, accessible. And how do you do that? By knowing what's going on in your body. You need to understand that when we are in a survival state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, we are not able to think properly. We are not able to logically understand things. We are not able to decide. We are not able to plan. Why, you might ask? Because literally we don't have access to our prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain, the evolved part of the brain. We stay in this emotional survival part of the brain, and we only know how to react. That is not going to help you here. So you have to always come to your body, know what's going on, and then most importantly, you have to relax it intentionally. You have to imagine that this narcissist you're trying to deal with is like a bulldog that can bite you, but is chained. It can only bark, and you can be relaxed vigilant, not hyper vigilant. Your hyper vigilance won't help you. Relaxed vigilance will. So you remain relaxed vigilant by relaxing your body, by imagining you are a wet noodle, by relaxing your jaw. This is very crucial. I have done it personally. It helps a lot for you to play along. It's a game of chess. You have to predict what moves will be made before you make a move. So you have to have your arms relaxed. You have to rest properly, sit properly, and tell yourself that I'm dealing with a toddler. I can handle this. I just do not have to react. Number three, and the most important one, use their narcissistic traits against them. This one is a little tricky, but if you know that the narcissist you are dealing with is extremely image focused, you can think of all the ways to use that against them. For example, if this narcissist wants to be perceived as an amazing parent by the people involved in this case, the court system, the police, whosoever, then you would want to trigger that. You would want to push your decisions, make them about the welfare of your children, so that the narcissist feels compelled to agree even when they don't want to agree. Or some narcissists are extremely paranoid. So how can you trigger that paranoia? The paranoia of bad exposure, and then make them feel compelled that they have to do it, or otherwise everybody will know who they are? Or can you trigger their impulsivity? They're extremely impulsive. How can you offer them something that would lure the narcissist into the trap of wanting instant gratification? What is instant gratification for the narcissist? Feeling powerful, feeling in control, or having their ego stroked. Think about all these things and come up with your own unique strategies to use their traits against them so that they do what you want them to do. Number four, state facts always and do not chase winning. If you go after winning obsessively, you may lose track, because the narcissist knows how to cleverly and strategically maneuver. They know what buttons to push to derail you, to hamper your progress. So your focus should be on the present moment and handling the challenges they're presenting, not on winning always. Yes, that should be the ultimate goal, but don't be misled by it. When I say state facts, I'm talking about gather the evidence or present the evidence that you have for each behavior of theirs. You know you cannot call them a narcissist in the court system, or if you call them a narcissist in front of those people who are more objective and are judging the situation, they may say, oh, you're psycho labeling this person. How do you know? Being assessed as a narcissist takes months. You know how that goes. So what do you do? How can you handle that very cleverly? You point out all their behavioral traits. For example, a narcissist is arrogant, they're vindictive, they're punitive, they're non-cooperative, They're not amicable, they're rigid, they're condescending, they're exploitative, they're extreme in their approach, they are sometimes Machiavellian, they're sadistic. I can go on and on and on. What I'm trying to do here is I am trying to help you think of all the traits that you can name, the labels that can describe their personality instead of calling them what they actually are, which is a narcissist. And then for each trait that you have, gather your evidence. Describe how they are arrogant, how they are Machiavellian, how they are rigid. Give examples and then point out the proof. Either show the proof if you need to, or keep it ready. If you have text messages, make a folder of those text messages and name it exploitation, and then you know where to go to find proof for this. What I want you to do is I want you to write a book about this person, a biography, describe their personality. You can literally open a Word document and describe them, describe these traits, and for each trait have detailed examples and have detailed description and then have evidence for the same. That will help you be perceived as rational, logical, the sane one, the person who has things in control, and the person who has a lot to show than a lot to say, because a narcissist will have a lot to say. They don't have proof. You do. So your documentation will help you here. You just have to know how to use it properly. Number 5, know when to disengage. A narcissist is driven by supply. They shouldn't get supply from you all the time, negative or positive. Know when to call it quits. Know when to cut the ties. Know when to let it go. And then act on the same. Act on your decisions. For example, if you're trying to negotiate with them on something, you're trying to get something from them, and there is a meeting scheduled. In this meeting, the narcissist goes crazy with blame shifting, and they talk about everything except that thing you are trying to negotiate with them. What do you do in that situation? You say, I'm sorry, it seems right now you are not in the right state of mind. We'll come back to this topic or this thing again when you are more ready, or when you are in a better state of mind. You just leave it there, drop it there, be declarative and step back. Do not keep them satiated. Your presence is poison to them, but at the same time they love it. They love tormenting you. Their love lies in labeling you as crazy, labeling you all the things that you are not, but they themselves are. So step back, take your power back. Know when to shut it down, call it off. Know when to remove yourself from the situation so that they know that you are not willing to sit there and listen to that BS or just take that abuse, that you can only give them supply. You'll only provide them any attention if they comply, or if they behave differently than how they behaved the last time. So here you are trying to condition them a little bit. The moment they behave nicely, give them a little bit more supply. Be transactional. Everything has to be transactional. For everything you give, you must take something back home. That is how you have to think. You're gambling here. You're playing a very risky game. So gauge the responses. Test things. Do not set something in your mind. I mean, don't be rigid. Test things. Go with the flow. Try things. See what works. Okay, that worked. That is how I got a response. A favorable response. I'll try that more. Okay, that thing, that is not working. Let me stop it. Evolve yourself until you get what you want out of the situation and get out. Don't ever look back. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful. If you did, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, let the healing begin and continue.